This one, block 1C, it is already posted on the website. This one has a little more cutting, but you can use your AccuQuilt because there's dies for both of these. I'm just going to use a ruler, and a rotary cutter. I have both here, and they're fast and easy. So, you're going to need 4 patches of the scarlet and ebony, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, 4 patches of each color, and then the rest of it is triangles. And so you're going to cut 4 3 1/8 inch squares to make your triangles. So I'm going to cut those first. So 3 1/8. I hate working in eighths, but this is where that angle comes in. I'm going to square that up first. I didn't cut straight when I cut it off the bolt. That happens. And so this is a good little tutorial. When you're squaring up fabric off of the bolt and you don't have a straight edge, I always fold it in half until these pieces meet and they're both straight. And so you can see this edge is off by quite a bit. And so then I'm going to take my ruler, because I know this edge is straight. I'm going to line the ruler up with that fold and then make sure I'm covering all of that fabric. Have to lift up on this one because it doesn't slide very well. And then square it up. We still have some of these starter kits, don't we?
Yeah, I think there's a few of the starter kits left.
So I'm just going to keep that same fold and cut this 3 1/8 inch strip here.
Hi, James.
So, and I'm making sure that I'm lined up here with the 1/8 mark and then straight here on the fold. And I need 4 of these. So I'm just going to fold it over again. And then there's a smaller ruler.
Another show and tell I almost forgot about.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's a really cool one too. Okay, so this is a 4 1/2 inch ruler, so I'm going to go this way with it, upside down. Line it up. There's that. And then corner to corner.
How many of you have made your block already? Hi, Yvonne.
And so one of the things that I'm cutting corner to corner that I look at is to make sure the 45 angle line is on the straight line on your block. I cut it crooked, but it's close enough. I can fudge that. And then the other one I need is 2 3/4, and I need 4 patches of that.
You posting the link? So if you're just joining us, we're doing block of the week. We sew one block on every show. And I think there's 42 blocks.
42.
So grab your sewing machine and sew along.
These go together really quick because they're really simple blocks. So 2 3/4.
Some people are cruising right along. They've done both blocks already.
Great. 2 3/4. I don't know why this math is this is compounding me. I'm on the wrong ruler.
That's the metric ruler?
No, it's a 1/4 inch. It's like a 4.5 inch ruler.
Mm.
There's 2.5, 2 3/4. All right, so I'm gonna do this way. There we go. And you need 4 patches. So there's that. There's the 8 of those. We do the same thing again with the black. I'm going to skip the smaller ruler because it just is throwing me off. And
Hi, Judy.
that side is pretty straight. So what did I say before? 3 1/8. Yeah, that one looks pretty good. So what does everybody do with these little scraps like this? I think Susan saves them for trees.
I was going to say, I think she's over there posting it on a Christmas tree right now.
Well, I put them in a drawer, and my cat has figured out how to open that drawer, so I got the best of her, and I took them all out and put them in a plastic bag up high.
Do you want to explain the block of the week? How do they, is there a kit or anything?
There is. So if you've already signed up, we're only on week 3, so we can cut more kits for you. And then, sorry, I can't talk and cut because I will mess that up.
No.
8 pieces. So this is a quilt that I made many years ago. So this one we need 4 blocks, 4 patches of the black in 2 3/4. So when I made it, I used any kind of fabric that I could find, and it's kind of sad looking now. I've washed it a couple of times. The black's faded out. It doesn't look that great, but it's a beautiful quilt.
It looks loved.
It looks loved, but it hasn't been loved that much.
They don't need to know that.
Well, you know,
Roxanne said that you can make another scrappy quilt with it.
you could.
With your pieces.
You could. You could find that video that I did on using the scraps to make a scrappy quilt. Scrap quilt. I think that's what it's called. Scrappy quilt video on YouTube. Oh, Joan, they came out the same size. Hey, it's a win.
Mm-hmm.
So this is it. So with these, all of the black and red triangles get sewn together. So I am just going to piece these cutting instead of sewing.
Yeah. Are you doing all solids in this one?
All solids.
Yeah, Carol, she's going to do all solids.
Oops.
Come unthreaded?
I think I broke the thread, but I did not break the needle, so I think I messed up my thread when I was carrying this over here.
Is this the 18 or the 2010?
This is the TL18.
Okay. Yeah, this one's the 18.
No pressure.
Are we still doing the scavenger hunt, or is that over?
Yeah, this is
One more week.
One more week for the scavenger hunt.
The information on that is on the website as well. Under giveaway.
Yes.
And we're announcing winners next week, next Tuesday.
We are. If you haven't done any, you can still do all of them this week if you want to. Everything is still open.
Okay. Third time is always the charm for me. Okay. And I'm sewing standing up. Is that skill or what? There we go. Now I can just fly through these. This is one of my favorite tools is this magnetic thread guide or seam guide. I like it better than the feet because I can just put my fabric right on it. And I like to sew fast, so I think I sew straighter when I sew faster. But I have found myself, sometimes I get 2 pieces of fabric and sew them into one patch. Have you ever done that? Then you're at the end of all your pieces and you're like, I know I cut the right amount.
Do you have those kits in Springfield?
We do not. But we will
down.
mail them.
Yeah, we can mail them to you too, Sharon.
So we've had several people ask us to hang on to their kits for a month. Because we charge a flat $4.99 for shipping for anything under $75. Everything over $75 is free. So you really don't want to buy a $5 kit and pay $5 for shipping.
No.
We can hang on to them for a month. We've got a couple of people that we're doing that for. If you'd like us to do that, just leave it in the notes. Hey, all my pieces match up.
And if you're doing it in Springfield, then I can bring them down as well, because we usually go down there every couple weeks.
Yep. You can pick them up in the store.
Yep. That's the Quilter Select ruler, Jackie. That's what we're using here. They're one of our favorites.
Seriously, one of my favorites. Okay. I know this is not what it's for, but I do this all the time.
Where's your little triangle cutter?
It's at home.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to come over here to the Laura Star and press these towards the dark side for all you Star Wars fans. I think my seam's a little bit big, but I think it'll be fine. They look like those little folded newspaper boats, kind of.
They do. Or the hat.
Or the hat. Those ones we used to cut out in grade school for Thanksgiving. The
Oh, the turkey hat?
the pilgrim hat.
Oh, the pilgrim.
And then I had a teacher that did the profile, like shoot a light at our head, and then draw our profile
Black.
in black. Yeah. And then we had to cut it out. You know, second graders don't really have good cutting skills. So I think I didn't have a nose on mine.
The scissors really weren't very sharp either.
I know, they
you
were
know,
those curved edge ones. I mean, you can't
for
cut
safety,
anything
right?
with those. All right, I'm just
Safety
gonna
scissors for children.
That's right.
trim these points off, and then we'll lay out the block. Move all this stuff out of the way.
Should start doing like Eleanor Burns. Just get rid of it.
Well,
I know somebody'd have to clean it up the next time. I think I know who that might be.
I do think that she has other people to pick up
Well,
after.
no, I know, but I still love it. It's just so liberating.
I like her books. You know, she's like still stripping after whatever
25 years.
25 years. Like Ellie. Love it. If you use your AccuQuilt, you don't have this step. because those are already dog-eared for you. And those were from the 9-inch cube.
We do have, I think we do have those magnetic seam guides in
We do.
Springfield.
We do.
In
In
Springfield?
Springfield. I don't know that.
She had some.
Okay, so this is one I recommend that you lay this out before you start sewing, or you're going to make friends with your seam ripper again.
Ugh.
I know.
Do we have any of the anniversary bundles left? I think
Yes.
we
Oh, the anniversary
I
bundle,
think
there's
there's-
one, but the other
there's
ones that are
2, I thought.
starter kit.
Yeah.
One got sold.
Debbie, I know we have one of the anniversary kits left.
Okay, and then
And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have at least 4 of these, Robert.
Of the starter kits?
Yeah.
And 4 of the starter kits.
this is kind of an advanced block.
Oh, will you bring that anniversary over so we can show that? She wanted to see what was in it.
Okay.
That's going to be a cool block.
It is a cool block. I think I struggled with this one, if I remember correctly, because I did not lay this block out. I was like, oh, and I always do this. I can just do that.
Carol was on board with the Eleanor Burns throw it over your shoulder there.
Only do that if you have someone else to pick up after you. If you have to pick up after yourself, that's not as much fun.
Did this help them?
Yeah. This is a great tool suggested by Susan. This is a block that it's kind of like a portable design board. And so you can lay out your block and they kind of stick to it. So I'm lucky because I'm right here, but I can't tell you how many times I have gone from here to here and it's still wrong. So I'm not quite sure how that happens, but it
Hey, Ellen.
does. And so if you'll look, so remember I made that wrong cut, so my blocks aren't quite right here. So I want the outside. You've never done that, I'm sure. It's happened to me a couple of times. But, so I want the outside of my block to be even. So I'm going to fudge this on the inside. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully I got enough room. I do. Is I'm going to line this up with the outside edge, because this block, because I cut wrong, is a little bit smaller. So I'm lining it up with the outside, and then I'm just going to sew that seam, and then in like magic, it's the right size again.
Did we get more of the color of the month in yet?
Not yet. It is on order though.
And what color is it?
Green. So there's that one. These two I know are the right size. So I'm just going to sew those together. I love it that there's like this little mistake that I'm getting to show you how to fix it.
So you're lining up so the bottom is straight and you're sewing the side that is
Right.
a little short, so you're going to have a 1/4 inch seam on one side of the fabric and a little narrower on the other, right?
Right.
Okay.
So see where I made so when I put this together, I lined up this edge, right? Because I know this piece is the right size. This piece is not. So you can see where I just fudged the... Ask me how I learned that so much.
Is there a
Practice
sign?
makes perfect.
I think that goes that way. No, it goes that way. Yep, you definitely want to keep these laid out. And so then the other thing that I'm doing, because this block is small, I'm going to do this again on this one. Line up the edges of this block in order to piece this together.
So we had a couple of questions there.
Okay.
What brand of thread are you using?
I'm using Aerofill. This is my favorite color, 2615.
40 weight?
50 weight.
50 weight?
I use this with everything. And so with this one, I'm pressing all of my seams in one direction. And I believe this goes like this. Okay.
Not sure. There's another question. Is this a quilt you buy a block of the month?
It's kind of like that. This is one that I designed, so the only place you're going to find the pattern is here. So you'll have to kind of stick with us for the next, 39 more weeks to get the pattern.
And then I think we had another question further up there. Are you putting the larger on the bottom?
Larger on the bottoms.
On that piece that you just sewed, I think is maybe.
So I can go through it again here because I have another one. Actually, I'll swap this one for the up there. I'll put it up there. There we go. And this one's a little smaller too.
Might run a little long tonight.
That's so fast. Look at that. Nope, we are going to run a little bit long. Susan's fault. Just kidding.
Okay, I have broad shoulders. I do have a final show and tell from a customer of ours that I promised I would show tonight.
Okay. It's cool.
It's
Did you post a link on the anniversary bundle?
Okay. Now, as you're making this, be sure and check your pieces to make sure they're lining up with the way the pattern is. I think I did struggle with this one. Like I said, this was a beginner project, but I did design it, and I wasn't really thinking about how these are all going to go together before I pieced them. Okay, so here's one where the block is a little bit, so it goes like this as the block. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up with the outside of this block. So I'm lining it up here, and I'm putting my shortage on the inside of this seam where I'm sewing.
So overall, when you put that block together, so the rows together, it should be the size
Yes.
it's supposed to be because you've already copied. Yep.
So if you save yourself the trouble.
I still think you need to write a book with Joan's tips. Seriously.
And we'll post this block to YouTube so you can watch it multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Looks like everything's still going correctly. So these are the same size, so they'll just fly together.
Okay.
Debbie, I don't see the magnetic seam guide right now, but I will try to link you to something tomorrow or soon.
And so again, this one is a little bit small, so I'm using this as my guide. My seam is going to be right here, so I am lining up this piece with the outside of this block. And because this is my top seam, I'm going to push this all the way up to the top because I can hide this part in the seam in the block. I know I've told you I'm not that good at sewing. And then I'm just going to flip it over so I'm looking at this straight piece.
Hi, Sherry.
And we got it. There we go. Let's put these two together. I'm going to line up these two outside pieces. Line up this top. And then my shortage is right here on this side. Turned out to be a sewing lesson instead of just more like a fudging lesson, huh? So let's press all of these one direction and then the other. Okay, so let's lay this out one last time. And that's not quite right. So let's do this.
It's like a puzzle.
It is like a puzzle. That's it. And so what I'm looking for is this pinwheel that goes out in all of these directions. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because I made this side straight, I'm going to line it up with this side. And then, so you can see my little shortage places, I'm just going to sew over those. And then I'm going to take a minute to make sure the seam is nested well.
Oh, nice.
That was a cool jacket, wasn't it?
Yeah, very. Hi, Debbie.
If I thought I could get away with it, I'd lose it somewhere.
I think she would hunt you down.
Yeah, I think
she
so
would,
too.
and the customer that's supposed to be getting it.
Same thing on these. I'm going to line up this edge with this edge and hide my little shortage right here. You can see it right there. And I figured out how to do this because I don't like seam ripping.
Yeah, we can, Ellen, we can post that.
Okay. Everything is still lining up. Last two pieces.
Do we still have steam pump fabric?
We do.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
Susie, we have some of the steampunk fabric. Hey, Nina.
And there you have it. Now, because I was tugging and pulling on these, but see, look how sharp the points are and the corners are. Even though I started out with a bad cut, you can do this too. So I'm going to iron this, and I'm going to steam it with the Laura Star. I wouldn't recommend steaming it with your regular iron because your regular iron is going to have a wet steam. This is a dry steam. There we go. And there's our finished block.
Nice.